It's February 10th. Here we are with another episode. We're going to talk about the North Node. The transiting nodes have been going through Cancer and the sign Capricorn. The North Node is in Cancer. The South Node is in Capricorn. This is where the eclipses of all of 2019 happened and where the rest of the eclipses, or I should say half of 2020, where the remainder of those eclipses are going to happen. The North Node is where we're going. It's where we're headed. So in your personal chart, find your natal North Node, what you should be working on. The transiting node is what, as a group collectively, we are all working on. It being in Cancer is letting us better understand when it comes to matters of our emotional body, our ancestry, our lineage, our family, our heritage. It is all about mom, all about our inner tribe and our inner emotional world and security. So let's do this and let's discover all astrology. I am going to go deep into Cancer, the significance of it for all of us in our chart, connected to the moon cycles, why it's connected to the moon cycles. I'm also going to give you dates and degrees because we have a healing coming. Right now, I've been doing a lot of videos about the Mercury retrograde because it's in Pisces. Now, the Mercury retrograde in Pisces was also occurring while we have the Mars acting out of bounds. Another element, another piece, another ingredient in this recipe for all of us right now is that the transiting Mercury is also at certain degrees and on certain dates going to be sending a sweet, beautiful trine to the transiting node because it's in Cancer, water, right? And Mercury's in Pisces, water. At the same time, that same Mercury, while it's sending the trine to the North Node, because the North and the South Node are connected. They're on polar opposites, okay? They belong to the same line of energy. That means if a trine is going to the North Node that's transiting, that Mercury is also then sending a supportive sextile to the South Node. The South Node is what we're letting go, and this is in Capricorn. Cancer stuff represents, look where the moon is in your chart. The moon rules Cancer. The moon is your emotions, your inner security, your inner emotional security. It is that part of yourself that is totally 100% intimate. It is specifically all about you and your inner sacred space. It is a place that no one can touch. It's so sacred that it's kept covered and we protect it. So we're very private about it. The crab, it carries it on its back. And when things aren't going good, it's completely can hide within that shell and be protected. It goes within and it takes care of itself. It doesn't want to get touched or hurt. It stays in a place to feel safe. So this is what we do if we think about it in the material 3D world. Our home is where we go to retreat typically. This is why our home, why people are so possessive about their homes, why they're willing to fight for their home, why they're willing to die for their home, whether that's their land that they own, right? It's part of, this is a part of me. The home is an extension of the individual. So we take it to be something, the 3D, the tangible, material, physical of what we think of home, we're very, very sensitive about. Cancer is a very sensitive sign. It's very empathic. It's emotions. Empathic people can pick up the emotions of other individuals. So they have to be careful. They have to protect themselves. A lot of Cancers who are extremely sensitive know this and they do a really good job of it. And it looks odd to other individuals because they don't understand what they're doing. It's like, oh my God, okay. They may have certain physical habits, things that they do because they have these layers of sensitivity that we cannot visually see, we can't perceive them, so we don't understand it, we don't get it. Cancer ascendant, Cancer risings are also extremely intuitive because typically they're going to have the sign of Scorpio in the 4th house. Obviously it depends upon what degrees we're talking about. If you're not looking, if you're looking at a chart that is not a whole house system, right, then it's like, hey, wait a minute, how can you say that? I'm looking at a chart where my 4th house is split and I've got some Libra there, or I've got some Sag there, and just, so that's another discussion. In general, if you're a Cancer on the ascendant, 4 houses away, that's the 4th house. So that's the sign of Scorpio. And Cancer or Scorpio energy is water. Okay. So here we go with the water thing. Remember, water is emotions. So that's Cancer, that's Pisces, that's Scorpio. Scorpio has the ability to pierce to the other side, talk to the dead loved ones, a very psychic sign, right? Very much about knowing information that's beyond the veil, understanding the behind the scenes things, especially with other individuals in their life that they're close to or that they know. They can just pick up on what someone is thinking. They literally can get impressions that are in others' auric fields. Well, Cancers have this in the home. So if Cancers have this in the home, that means they're doing this whether they want to or not, especially if they're youngsters. These are impressions that they're receiving. It's like an invasion. You know, if you think about it, if you're young and you don't understand what's going on and you're receiving all this different information and all these impressions of feelings and emotions and thoughts and intensities from folks in your home, you don't feel real safe. So you have to go and take extra measures sometimes to protect yourself, to keep yourself safe. I got a friend who's a Cancer ascendant. I have a couple of people I know who are Cancer ascendants, and I see them doing this in varying degrees, okay? Some will literally go and use their room as their sacred space where, hey, you know, you knock on the door before you enter type of thing, and you go in there and they've got it all. It is their turtle shell. It's like you go in and it is their place. Everything is just so, however it is that they want it, but it's all set up in that way to support their stability, their feelings, their emotions. It is what they need to feel emotionally secure. It emotionally satisfies them. And that is the only place they can control it, right? Because then anywhere else in the house, they don't have that control. Some of them, how they dress, right? They keep their outer shell on at all times, covering their skin. They're usually very sensitive tactilely, right, to touch them. So these are different ways that these are just little small examples of Cancers and their feelings and the emotions and family, their tribe. Individuals are really, really important to them. But at this time globally, all right, if we think about the world as a whole, because our world is not just simply myself and where I live, it is also, you know, this other system that my world exists in, right? I've got my job, I've got my work, I've got my family, but that little unit then exists within this greater unit. So we kind of have to be aware of that greater unit as well, because what happens out there also affects what happens in our home to a degree, and vice versa, just as each individual is a part of that whole, okay? Same idea. So with Mercury transiting and retrograding through Pisces, when Mercury in particular retrogrades, Mercury is about thinking, okay? So it's what comes to your conscious, what comes to your awareness. And in Pisces, it's again emphasizing emotions. But so far, when we've discussed the other videos and saying, hey, there's a lot of thinking that's not happening, it's because Mercury is in water and it's retrograding and there's confusion. And I've been getting a lot of comments and feedback from folks who are like, oh God, thank you, this is explaining what's going on, or they have questions because there is some craziness they're engulfed in. Emotions are on 10 for some folks, all right? Mercury trining, because it's in water, sending trining, supporting beams to Cancer is at certain dates literally being super supportive to supporting the emotional world, because the North Node is in the under 10 degree mark in the sign of Cancer. North Node is like at 8 degrees today. So the nodes typically go backwards. They're opposite of the other planets. The other planets are typically always going forward and spend a small portion of their time retrograding. The North Node does the exact opposite. It spends the majority of its time going backwards, and then a very small percentage of its time going forward. So right now we've got the North Node transiting, moving, current movements at the 8 degree mark, and Mercury going forward and backward in that same area in Pisces. So that means trine. Now recognize if the North Node is here at Cancer at 8 degrees. That means the South Node, its polar opposite, is South Node, is hanging out in Capricorn at 8 degrees and is receiving a supportive sextile from the 60 degree away Mercury up there in the Piscean energy. When Mercury is at 8 degrees Pisces, it's setting a sextile, right? And then trining this. So Mercury has its retrograde zone, its shadow zone, between 28 degrees of Aquarius and 13 degrees of Pisces, okay? So on the retrograde begins roughly, I think I have the dates for the retrograde, are February 17th, Mercury starts going backwards, February 16th starts going backwards once it hits 13 degrees Pisces, and then it'll go back, all right? Now, I'm gonna give you some dates because first we'll start off with the Mercury degrees, okay? Because this is what you wanna look for in your chart if you have your own chart, and if you don't, by the way, here at All Astrology, go ahead and put your stuff in down below. I can get that for you. I can help you out, whether you wanna be able to see your own chart or have a specific question, just comment and I'll hook you up. So when we look at the first retrograde, Mercury, like I said, hits that 13 degree mark. So at 13 degrees, it's like 5-6 degrees away from the transiting node, right? From trining it. It is trining it, and it already did trine it. So February 7th and February 11th, we have where Mercury is literally sending a supportive trine, which is, we're in the midst of it right now, to the North Node in Cancer. So because Mercury goes backwards and goes forward and goes back over the spotting again, it is the Cancer energy of family, of tribe, of heritage, of lineage, of past lives, okay? So what we're experiencing is, who are you around right now? Who do you live with? Who are the folks in your life? Realize that those individuals, and it's not just the people you live with, it's people that you consider part of your tribe. So there may be people you work with that you're very close to. There may be people who are just simply friends, right? They're not blood relatives, but you're so close to them, they're considered a relative in your world, okay? These are folks that you, without a doubt, have had multiple past lives with. And I say multiple because we are trying to let go of something. We're trying to release something, because this is where the nodes are, right? The North Node is in Capricorn. Structures that we've built up over a long period of time. The South Node, when you see the South Node, that means this is what we're trying to let go, to release, to get away from. Maybe get away from isn't a right word to use. Get away from, it's more of, I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt. It's time to put it in the closet, or maybe pass the t-shirt on to somebody else, right? Say, hey, you look like you might be able to use this. This might fit you, right? And so you hand it off, you give it away. That's what the South Node is. So in Capricorn, we understand that it's something that we have built up and that we've mastered over many, many, many lifetimes. And I'm saying that because the polar opposite is the Cancer energy, the moon, and that represents our past. So we're releasing a lot of stuff. And the North Node in Cancer is about how we're moving forward, about let's do this. Let's move forward collectively, because Cancer on the big grand scale isn't just my private tribe, my blood relatives, isn't just my people in my life who are close to me, who I've made part of my tribe, but let's expand it and go even larger. What's a higher level of that? It's humanity. It is the world. You get it? So we are all collectively working on releasing past history, releasing things that we have done and lived and we experienced, and it's really deep in our being because it's ingrained. It's this energetic imprint that our soul carries, and we are looking to move forward in a new way with it. So we're releasing these crystallized things that we've built up over a long period of time, and we're moving forward. We need to do what is best for all of us collectively, because in essence, when we talk about humanoids, well, that is one family within itself, all right? The next one is February 24th to February 29th. At that time, you're going to have Mercury, when she's going over those same areas and trining the North Node in Cancer. Find out where the Cancer North Node is. Like, all you have to do is find out where is Cancer in your chart, because this is a video right now that's for everybody, regardless of your signs, because we all have Cancer somewhere in our chart. So it doesn't matter whether you're a Cancer ascendant or not. You need to understand the Cancer location of your chart, because even if you don't have a planet there that you can visibly see, you do have a planet there, and it is the moon. The moon's in two locations of your chart, technically. It is where the sign Cancer is, and it is literally where you see the symbol of the moon, okay? Because the moon rules that sign of Cancer. And to better understand it, you want to follow the energy, follow that trail, follow the breadcrumbs, go see where your moon is and what sign it is in, right? Like now I'm looking at a chart and they have their moon in their 5th house, and in their 5th house is the sign Libra. So they have a moon in Libra at 25 degrees. So that moon in Libra at 25 degrees tells me about this person's Cancer ascendant. It tells me that their moon in Libra at 25 degrees very much is part of how that Cancer energy expresses. Meaning, because it's in Libra, what is Libra? It's the 7th house. It's significant one-on-one relationships, business or intimate and personal. And maybe sometimes that line may become blurred and may be difficult because it's all about their emotions. It will emotionally satisfy this person. At least that's how they appear to people, because this is on their ascendant. So that first, or I should say the second time that Mercury transits and literally sends a supportive trine for the dates that I just gave in that butt end of February, recognize this is also at the same time that we're going to be having our new moon. And it's on the February 23rd, February 24th is the new moon. I have another video I'm going to be releasing today or tomorrow that will give you details on that. I go through by rising sign, where the new moon happens in your chart, and where the supportive energies are for your wishing, because that's what we do with new moons. It's all about setting an intention. Your emotions are energy, all right? So you use your emotions as part of what it is you want, what you want to wish for. Now, the next time we get a supportive trine from Mercury is when it's now going to be moving direct. Mercury already went back and got the knowledge it needed in Aquarius at 28 degrees, and it's moving forward again. And the next next time it sends a supportive trine to the north and south node, trines the north node, sextiles the south node, both support, will be March 20th to March 24th. That is when we will have the 7.5-degree north node, or 7-degree north node, I should say, receiving a beneficial trine from the transiting Mercury, and that has a window roughly, from the 20th, like a 4-day period. So what that means is during that time, that last wave of supportive energy means you got in some information and you're going to use that information to release that which no longer works for you. It's something that has to do with all about wherever Capricorn is in your chart. Find out where 8, 7, and 6 degrees, well, even actually anything under 9, between 9 and we'll say 6 degrees, okay? Those are the degrees that Mercury trines, okay? And in receiving the trines, it's helping us to release our Capricorn energy, the Capricorn structures. Now, for a lot of folks, there was some big stuff that already occurred, because when the north node was in the higher numbers, remember it goes backwards, when it was in the higher numbers, it was, holy crap, it was sitting amongst Pluto, it was with Saturn, okay? It was with Jupiter at one time, and that was a big deal. When Jupiter slid over the north node, it was like a major release, a major force of letting go. If you hadn't done it, you probably had to do it then. So that's why there have been so many folks who have been changing jobs, because Capricorn represents our work, our professional life. So that's what a lot of people are doing. And other people, maybe not necessarily losing a job, but saying, hey, they're just making decisions. It's a wake up of things that are important to you. Because also at this time, we're receiving a supportive trine from Uranus. Uranus is also in Earth at 3 degrees. So it is trining this area of our chart. Even though the north node's not there yet, the north node, it goes backwards. So it will match up with Uranus. That will happen, and Mars is going forward, and it'll also cross over. Remember, this is in the first decan of Capricorn energy. Decan is the 10 degrees. So the first decan is 10, the second degrees is between 20 and 30, or I'm sorry, between 10 and 20. Third decan is between 20 and 30. Did anything I just said make sense? First decan between 0 and 10. Second decan, 10 and 20. Third decan, 20 and 30. That made sense that time. So the first decan of Capricorn energy is Earth. Well, Uranus has been hanging around 0 and 4 degrees for a while now. It is moving forward, and once it starts gaining more speed, it'll go even higher. It'll go to like 7, 8, 9, 10, and I think it retrogrades back at like 11 or 12, and it goes back to 7. But either way, it is that area, those first 10 degrees of Capricorn. There's multiple eclipse points there. Right now, Mars is actually there. Mars is there at 4 degrees. When we talk about the February 24th, 29th date, right, the new moon date, we have a lot of supportive aspects coming from Mars to Uranus at the time of the new moon. So I'm real excited about the support, and I go into that other video of the new moon explaining it. But what I didn't talk about in that video, and that's why I'm doing this video, because there's so much going on, it's easier to just break it up by piece to get the big picture, to look at each individual piece by itself. So it's not so complicated. So when March 20th, 24th comes around, this is going to be a time, give me 1 second here. I'm going to speed up and I'm going to go to that. I'm having this electronic thing. That's where having Mercury there slows it down automatically for me. Well, by golly, and share. So when I move up to this date and I look at the big picture, what we're seeing is the south node is going to be on an eclipse point. It happens at 3, 4, 5 degrees of Capricorn. We have the south node there. This is a recent eclipse point, and it is about letting go. This eclipse happened the day after Christmas, or December 25th, 26th of 2019. And so we've got the north and south nodes, right? 4 degrees Capricorn, 4 degrees of Cancer. That degree mark is receiving a trine and a sextile from the transiting Uranus. The transiting Uranus is in Taurus at 4.5, almost 5 degrees. So that's a beautiful trine and sextile. So Taurus energy sextiles Capricorn energy. Keep that in mind, right? Because it's 60 degrees apart. For those of you that are trying to, figure this out for yourself with your own chart in front of you, I appreciate that. And that's why I love supplying the degrees. And if it's helpful, please say yes. Comment, love the degrees and dates, because then I will definitely do more of that. And if it's a bother for other folks, like if it's a pain in the ass and you hit stop or whatever, let me know that too, because I would like to hear back what works for people. But be honest, ultimately my goal is for you to learn this so that you aren't dependent on anybody, and that includes me. And if we want to do anything for one another, that's the best we can do, is teach us to be critical, independent thinkers. Okay, let me not preach. So then at this time, Mercury is at 4/5 degrees, so it's trining the node again. This is a very powerful time, folks. The degrees, like I said, are going to be 4 and 3, Cancer in Capricorn. This is important. Capricorn is our work. Capricorn is our profession. It's our job. It's also authority figures. Taurus is our money, our values, how I value myself. What am I thinking about work? Because that's the themes. It's Taurus, which is my money, my income, my resources. Capricorn is what do I do for a living? How do I make money? What do I want to do? How do I want people? What do I want to do whether I get paid for it or not? Meaning, what would I love to do? What have I been doing my whole life? There's something we always keep getting drawn back to, something that we just have this drive and passion for, and we don't even know why. We just stay persistently with it. That's the Capricorn area of your chart. Whether you have any planets there or not, it doesn't matter. Because remember, you actually have Saturn there, right? So to get more meaning of that location, if you don't have any planets there, because Saturn rules it, what you want to do is go find your natal Saturn. What sign is it in? Investigate that sign that it's in. That will tell you how that Saturn is acting, what kind of traits it has taken on. Saturn by rule means we work hard, we're diligent, we go step by step by step. We know there is no shortcut. I like to refer to it as the wine that takes a long time to age and to develop its flavor. I know I've mentioned other signs, but there's many things in a chart that I kind of refer to as the wine because it takes years to develop. It's not something that happens fast. It takes time. So it's about what I do for a living. It's about my home, my lineage. It's about our emotional body because that's Cancer. It's about releasing habits and routines and emotional and belief systems around what family means, especially mom issue. The sign Cancer, totally about mom. And that could be my mom. That could be my ability to be a mom or not. My desire to either want to be or not to be. And maybe at times in my life I wanted and other times I didn't. Mom issues. So this is about when is Mercury sending supportive trines to the North Node and the South Node. And how are we supposed to do that? Find out where those 4 degrees, between 4 and 8, 9, 10 degrees at the most, 4 and 9. Find out where those degrees in Cancer are. Find out where those degrees in Capricorn are for you in your chart. And find out where 0 and 4 degrees of Taurus is for you in your chart. It's home, it's work, and money. It's those 3 things. They're supporting each other. But you're learning. This is the knowledge because it's a Mercury trine. Mercury from Pisces is trining. So we're learning what is important for me in a home. What do I really need? The belief about what I was taught when I grew up, our household, does that hold true for me? Am I doing things in my home now as an adult that I did when I was a child and I'm doing them just because it's what I was taught? You know, there might be subconscious actions. It's past. It's the emotional feelings around home, emotional things, your inner emotional security that's hidden from you, it's subconscious. You're not aware of it. So this is a time where we're going to be getting information, and it's helpful information. It's to help you to move forward. It's to help you to release that South Node in Capricorn, to release it and to move forward and to understand what it is you need to have inner emotional security, what it is you need to have a place that feels like home. What are the components that make that up? Based also on what it is you're going to be doing for a living, how you make your money, based on what do you value, the Taurus energy. And some of us, we might not be there yet because Uranus is still at the early degrees of Taurus. So we will continue talking about this, but understand that this is really big, and I think every sign of the zodiac has something to glean from this right now. Because once Uranus moves, simultaneously the nodes are going to be moving. And not far off, the nodes will then be in the sign of Gemini. They'll be in Gemini and Sag a year after they get out of Cancer and Capricorn. So it'll be changing. It'll be completely changing. The focus from home, it's now going to go to how I think. It's going to go from how I feel to how I think. How I feel, my inner emotional world, my inner security, which is what home gives us, people I relate to, people who are in my immediate environment. That could be coworkers, business, networking, social media, right? Our daily routines, people we contact every day, email, right? All that stuff up there in the internet. That 3rd house in Gemini energy has really evolved over the years. So you understand the evolution of energy, which is all astrology is, the explication of that. So I hope this helps light your way